Hey, what's up you guys? It is a beautiful March evening and I just wanted to show you guys my Bletilla striata patch, which is, there used to be two of them, but I dug this one up to give to a friend, and this one has already like doubled in size just this year alone. But they're such beautiful flowers. See, like, that's a pretty good one right there. They're very Cattleya-like in a way. Like, they're not exactly like a Cattleya, of course, but they're very Cattleya-esque. They're a hardy ground orchid. You can grow them up to, I believe it's zone 4. Zone 5 and zone 5 and 4 with insulation, like if you brought them into a shelter, if you're growing them into a pot, or if you mulch them really heavily in the winter. But in all other zones, they're hardy. I grew them in Albuquerque, which was, I think, zone 6A, 5B, I can't remember which. But yeah, they and now I'm in Southeast Texas, which is zone where I am. It's on the border of zone 8B and 9A. So these are very hardy. They do well with the, even here with the shorter winters that we have and the less steady cold. Like, we'll have periods of cold rather than just cold. It can be 80 in December and January pretty normally. But yeah, they're pretty easy. I grow them in a very sandy ground mix. Like the ground here is very sandy. Like, there's a lot of loaminess and a lot of sand, so it's a pretty good mixture, and they do well with it. They like to drain really well. They don't mind staying damp or moist, as long as they can drain really well and they aren't sitting in water. But this spot here gets some direct midday sun. They're very tolerant of that, but it's sheltered from the most intense sun by the trees here in the summer. In the spring, once we get further underway in spring, the trees are just starting to leaf out, if you can see that. And there's pollen everywhere from them. But I've had these for, I think, 5 years now. Both years I've lived here in Texas, and then I got them not long, I think in the October of the year I joined the NMOG, the Mexico Orchid Guild, in 2016, I think it was when I moved. Yeah, 2016. So these have been with me for 5 years now, like counting those periods. And they are just one of my favorites. So reliable, they take almost no effort. I don't really even water them outside of what the rain gets. Like, if we're having an extreme drought in the summer, which we haven't had, even in Albuquerque we didn't have that, they might need water, but I don't really give them any additional water beyond what nature provides. There's another good one. They kind of stay cupped for a while, like this one here. And there's a nice spike of them. I haven't counted exactly how many flowers they can produce, but like this spike here just produced only 3. This one here looks like it's going to have 5. This one here produced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one's been flowering for a lot longer. It's the first one to have opened, so it's dropped a few already. But they can flower a bunch. They grow pretty rapidly. Like, they'll start sprouting here as early as January. They won't finish dying back though until early December. So they will go dormant, but the shorter your winters are, the less they stay dormant. They don't seem to require the harsh cold though, because it's flowered every year for me just fine with lighter colds. I would say that in zone 9B, or like I think 10, and like I think that's in like Florida or like southern Texas, you probably can't grow them because they do need some bit of a winter, but it doesn't have to be that much. You could probably grow them all across the south, except for once you get down into Florida, you probably couldn't. But they're just so beautiful. They'll bloom, depending on where you are, they'll bloom anywhere from February into May and June. In Albuquerque, mine would come up in April and start flowering in May. And here they come up in January and start flowering mid to late February. So they're in their peak bloom right now. And this clump here has, I don't remember how many plants came up, because there's just a bunch. And look, there's another one. Get the leaf out of the way. There's another little one right there coming up. I think that's probably going to flower next year. They seem to grow pretty quickly, but it'll like double in size each year. So this was a lot smaller last year, and now it's double the size. It's got like 15, 16 growths at least, and I think 13 of them are flowering. Like 17 now with that one. So majority of them are flowering. So yeah, I just wanted to share this with you guys and talk a little bit about them. They're pretty carefree unless you live in the desert, and even there, I didn't have to do a whole lot. What's up, Wally? There's Wally, one of the cats. Yeah, let's just take one last look at a really good looking one. There's a good one. They're so pretty. They're not fragrant that I've been able to tell, although someone I saw said they were, at least hers were. But there's other varieties. They come in white, there's like dark purple, a very light lavendery color, but I've got the standard pink, and that's kind of the one I prefer. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this little video, and tell me about your ground orchids. I know some people might have like cypripediums if they live up north. Others might have, I can't remember the name of them, but they're another ground orchid, Spathoglottis, I think. Yeah, tell me about your ground orchids. If you have striatas, if you have something else, I'd love to hear about it. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.